Okay, so good morning, good evening, good night, whenever you're going to watch this video. It's been such a long time since I've done a video. I've been so busy, I've been moving. I have another channel actually where I show a lot of creative projects and DIYs that I'm doing. I'll have the link in the description so you can check it out. Whenever you get a chance. I wish everyone happy holidays also. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and you're enjoying this wonderful fall that we're having so far. I wanted to do a video, a little controversial, um, on something that I actually was not even really aware of. So I am a big fan of a lot of artists, as you know, especially the more controversial ones, apparently. And one of my artists that I like to listen to, I've been living under a rock. I had no idea that so much drama was going on with Doja Cat. Um, I just saw some of the videos that she's come out with and produced as part of her newest project, Scarlet. And even this quirky little video she put up about a week or so ago, like an interview style of her interviewing the character that's the name of the album, Scarlet. So it's real interesting. And I've seen a lot of people's commentary on her direction, her expression as an artist, uh, and just their overall opinion of a lot of the imagery and symbolism that she's been using, expressing in her videos. And so I wanted to entitle this video in defense of Doja Cat. I feel as though this this particular artist, this poor girl, I won't even say that because, she's an adult and she clearly is an adult. But just in defense of Doja Cat, the artist, um, I pulled together a couple of points in observation that I hope that people will consider in their final assessment of not only her, but, of all creatives and of all artists, especially in these times that we live in as things become much more, um, apparent in the spiritual realm as they affect us in our day to day. We are coming in a transition into the age of Aquarius, and so what does that mean? Transitioning from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. A lot of people want to just say, astrology and these progressions, movements of the stars, known as progressions and things, just don't matter. They just don't have any impact on us in our day-to-day lives. And that's just not true. If you actually stand back and silence yourself and watch and observe, you will see that there, in fact, are some synchronicities and some patterns, at least if nothing else, these times that we live in. Information is much more apparent, available. Communication between people's ideas and philosophies and, points of views, cultures, religions are all coming, together and crossing, at this time and outpouring and new sharing of ideas and expressions. That's what is the natural movement of humanity right now, And so I just think that, and this is completely aside from the whole Doja Cat thing, but I just think this is important to keep this in mind that, this is about the shift of people being able to outpour their thoughts, ideas, expressions, and yes, even creativity. And so that's really all I'm trying to say there. But back to my overall, I guess that is part of my defense of Doja Cat, But specifically, I guess this is more of a this particular point is more of a beef. Uh, like I watch DJ Academics and a lot of other, hip hop, um, blogs and things like that, giving their feedback. And I guess my thing is, since when, uh, excuse my colorful language because I'm going to be comfortable. The spirit of Doja Cat, you know, I'm gonna be myself, right? But since when did niggas become mystics and part-time occultists? Since when did this happen? Since when did Ray Ray and Pookie become occultists? Like, what book have any of these niggas picked up to research or read anything? What are they talking about? What evidence do you have other than a Google search on the fly to verify your theories? You know, there's no research. There's no true inquiry. So how can anybody take you seriously unless they are seeking a confirmation bias, as do most people? So I don't appreciate that, you know. And I guess unfortunately that be for a lot of people that are call themselves trying to be expressive, in this realm. I hope for their sake that they're well researched too. But particularly the critics. I hope all that choose to um, express in these kinds of mediums do their research. Which brings me to my second point in defense of my second point in defense of Doja Cat. My second point is she is well researched. She explained in one of the, I guess, the tattoos that she got. I'm going to hope it's not real. It could be permanent. It could be one of those temporary ones, but either way, I digress. She explained, the research and the history behind some of the images that she selected, in her tattoos. and and part of the imagery that she's using as a medium to express in her album, in her imagery. And what I would say is, after doing the research myself, um, on the concept behind the artist and the series that was produced, the artist produced, um, I always admire people that go in as a history buff and a history major. I always admire people that go into history to find reference and inspiration, because sometimes you don't need to recreate the wheel. You can just seek the inspiration that has always been here to re-energize you or give you a new perspective on something. So I think that's cool and I think that's dope. And that's exactly what she did. And I think that, you know, taking a beat to understand the perspective that an artist is trying to, share and showcase can assist you in understanding. But oftentimes, and what is really the case, is most people are seeking confirmation bias. Um, and perhaps that is oftentimes the gimmick, on a lot of people's part, to be provocative, to get, views and to generate traffic and all of that. And I certainly do understand, that part of the game. But all I'm saying is, when being super critical to the point where you rebel rouse people into potential action or inaction based off of their ignorance, it's purposefully done and coming from a place of confirmation bias and ignorance, because nobody's doing the research. Now, what she's explained in some of the images is the evolution of, well, what it is she's, the artist is trying to explain the definition of what is a monster. Monsters are often can be referred to or alluded to as demons. But basically, they're imperfections in the direction of nature, of something that's being created but fundamentally it is something that is misformed and misdirected. I wrote the quote down exactly. I wish I had it. I probably should have grabbed it for this, but nonetheless, the artist goes on to say that it is the point of view of the artist and the point of view of creativity, as in like creativity as in nature as the artist. But what's happening oftentimes is you see the imperfections of the materials that you have to work with, and it's about the new thing that is created or developed that is oftentimes more beautiful than the original thing. And I thought that's exactly what she is trying to embody and express. And for anyone who has the eyes to truly see that, then you'll get the understanding of what her art and artistry is all about right now. And maybe even the evolution of a lot of things, I think. Um, at least with her her creativity and what she's doing creatively. Um, but it's really my third point, creativity as art, and that is really the focus, and putting that back as the focus for creative. And I thought it was interesting on another interview that she did, because I was fascinated with all this stuff, so I was watching a lot and I was taking it in, and making my observations on things. And she said, for this particular album, she didn't really collaborate with anybody, she didn't want to collaborate with anybody. And I thought, aha, that's exactly it. When you have the creativity is so when the focus is so much on your creativity, you have so much to express creatively. You don't need the clout chase. You don't have the space for others in the interruption of your flow, you know because that's what's happening. It's the evolution of her imperfections into something beautiful. The evolution of nature working with imperfections that exist, and making something better out of it, something more beautiful out of it. So yeah, I think that's something that kind of alludes to so many other things in so many other directions, but that's probably another topic for another video. What am I trying to say? What I would want people to understand in defense of not only this artist but many other artists that claim to have a demonic side or a daemon that they walk with in the expression. It is about the evolution of the imperfections that exist in the materials that they were given to make something more beautiful. At least for some of them. I'm talking about, I could say for women. There are some other things that we can discuss on different days. What I'm talking about as far as the monstrous, side of things, that's what it's really about. What you see as an imperfection, I make perfection, because God makes no errors. So yeah, my next point, fundamentally, I think with the energy of this whole album, is that she doesn't owe, she doesn't owe you anything. She doesn't owe anybody anything. Most people that are on extremely self-directed agendas, whether that be helpful or harmful, it is because they don't owe you anything. And that's something to be aware of. It could go dark, obviously, but most times it's just that person's way of working towards their evolution into creating something better than what they were before. But fundamentally, she doesn't owe anybody anything. And the last point, which I think is probably the most significant, at least to me, is that the main message from her work and her expression creatively that she's trying to say is that her power is her power. Her power is her power alone. And it would be well for people to focus on finding theirs. You know, it's an opportunity to see someone in their raw power expressed and generated. It's an invitation to find and express yours. And the discomfort that you feel is because you're not in an alignment with your personal power. There's some place in your life where your power is less than optimal. You feel disempowered in some way. So when you see someone in full throttle, it can be uncomfortable and unsettling. So um, that's what I would have to say about that. So, Your Honor, these are the things that I would offer in defense of Doja Cat. I think that people are too harsh on her and a little too spooked out overall with the direction that she's going. As someone who is researched, right? Um, as someone who has experienced some things, as someone who has traveled places and gone through experiences, I can tell you that when you're not exposed to much, the littlest of things miff you. This is a big, wide world, especially in the spiritual realm. And I don't know. I think that the concept of some things wouldn't be nearly as spooky per se if you had a calling to at least learn about them and how they play out in your experience and what it says to you and about you. Um, yeah, I would offer that too. And yeah. Okay, those are my final closing remarks in my defense of Doja Cat. Yeah, thank you so much for your time and attention. If you have any thoughts or comments, please feel free to share. This is such an interesting topic. I'd love to hear from others and their thoughts on it as well. And this interesting dynamic character and artist, as many other artists are at this time. So thank you so much. Have a good one.